Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So let's talk a little bit about the victim mindset, the victim mentality. Someone with the victim mentality is basically somebody who does not take responsibility for their own actions, for their own decisions, for their own thoughts. Somebody who feels like the world is pushing them around. Somebody who feels like everything happens by accident, that everything's just happening to them for some weird random reason. It's the world that's against them, it's God that's against them, it's the system that's against them. They can just always point the finger to something that they feel is out of their reach, out of their control. It's always going to be pointed towards some form of authority. It's my parents, it's my school, it's my boss. They just keep going up the ladder. It's the governor, it's the cops. They get all the way up to God, always blaming everybody else and everything that happens to them on other people. The victim can go around setting fires everywhere they go and then complain to everybody how they're getting burned, how they're always getting burned. The victim continually makes the same choices, the same bad choices over and over and over again. And then shakes their fist at the world that nothing ever works out. See, I keep getting screwed over. You see what happens when I try? They make these statements. I used to do all this stuff. I used to be a victim. I used to think I was, at least. I used to go around blaming everything else around me, blaming my parents. That's what I started with. They were both screwed up and they did this and that to me. They were the worst parents ever. And I was just an innocent little boy. How could I have chosen to be in that situation? Life's always going to throw shit at you, and it's what you do with it. It's how you react to it. That makes all the difference. That makes us who we are. That's part of survival. I mean, that is survival, right? When you think about survival on a basic animalistic level of how humans have lasted this long for 1,000,000 years, however long we've been cruising around as humans. I don't know if you believe in evolution or not. We've done it through successfully navigating bad scenarios and being able to learn from them and grow from them. The victim doesn't grow. The victim stays in a constant stasis, holds themselves back. They're afraid to try, afraid to do anything, because they always have a backstory. And they go around creating bad situations for themselves and then make themselves out to be this victim in their story. I used to do this. And I used to justify being a bad person, being a really fucked up individual. You know, not only somebody that would destroy myself, but destroy everything around me. And I would justify this becoming a monster as like, well, you created me this way. Meaning that, you know, you, my parents, you, the system, you, the cops, the Lord. My very existence wasn't even my fault. I didn't want to be here. You know, it's how you navigate life is the important thing. Successful hikers that go through trails, the Appalachian Trail, or there's tons of other trails, they're not necessarily learning the easier routes. They just train and learn how to navigate the harder ones. Many people, mountain climbers especially, are always looking for harder routes to take. The first step with any of that is to realize your own limitations and your own capabilities, to take personal responsibility for your failures so you know where to work on that. Personal responsibility will set you free from the victimhood mentality. If you're constantly sabotaging yourself, maybe you might not even realize it. You may think that, well, I got mugged. How is that my fault? Well, you can think about every bit of the scenario that put you there. I had this trauma happen to me or that trauma happen to me. I don't need to list them, but you can think of different ones, terrible things that feel like out of your control. I've had all kinds of things like that happen, what I felt happened to me, using this statement, this happened to me. But we all choose our own course in life. We create the scenarios that we're living in. Look around you. You don't like it? You created that. That's your creation. And that's how you're doing this. I mean, I'm not making these videos for 4-year-old children who have to deal with the, bullshit lifestyle that their crackhead mother put them in. I'm making these videos for adults who can make a conscious choice. But if you went through a scenario like that, like I did, it doesn't mean you have to end up like that. It doesn't mean you have to end up fucked up. We're all going to go through hard things in life, and it's how you handle that stuff that makes you who you are, gives you the ability to move forward. One of the biggest keys for me in becoming able to move forward with my life and taking control of my life was to take full and complete responsibility for everything that's ever happened to me, even when I was a kid. And not to take responsibility for the action done upon me in many scenarios, but to take responsibility for how I navigated the emotional pain during and afterwards, the choices that I made because of that pain during and afterwards. I chose to become self-destructive. The world didn't put that on me. God didn't put that on me. Nobody else put that on me because they don't want to see that for you. I put myself through that because I was trying to numb the pain. I was stupid. I was scared mostly in order to face it, terrified to accept the fact that I was incredibly flawed, that maybe I wasn't very good at this game. But you just got to learn the rules. You got to learn how to play it right. And the first rule is being able to take 100% personal responsibility for your situation in this world. When you can do that, when you can start to take personal responsibility and say, okay, this is where I am, this is who I am, and this is all me. I'm going to stop pointing the finger at my wife or at my kids or these excuses of why I'm not better, why I'm not who I wish I was, why this life isn't turning out the way it was supposed to. Get rid of this supposed to fantasy. That's this bullshit future you impose on yourself. Always just look at reality and take responsibility for it, and that way you can adjust your course. You can navigate better. If you feel like somebody's pushing you in a different direction, how are you supposed to get from point A to point B? Sometimes point A to point B can just be a simple straight line, and other people can see that. All the motherfucker has to do is just get from here to there. Let's watch and see if he can do it. And you're going around zigzagging all over the place. You finally fall down on the ground and say, I can't do it. I have a motherfucking friend who just killed himself. And he probably did it because he felt like everything was so out of control. I wasn't there with him, obviously. So I can't say. We always wonder. I've known so many people that have committed suicide, and I always wonder what's going through their head. And it's this extreme victim mentality of being out of control, this extreme sense of somebody kind of guiding you, whether it be the devil or the craziness of everything going on around you. You got to learn to be able to stay in control. The first step to that is realizing what your limitations are and your capabilities are, and to be able to work on the limitations and use your capabilities to your advantage. Every single person has these. You're not without them. But the first step is to be able to sit down and take a look at yourself and to realize that you've been steering the ship the whole time, even through all this bad shit. I was homeless. I used to blame that on others. Finally, I realized, fuck, I've been homeless for the last couple years, and it's been all my own fault. This didn't have to happen. It could have happened a different way, and if it could have happened a different way, it should have. If you can think of that possibility, well, this is a scenario, even though this didn't happen, this is a scenario that could have. I realized, wow, I had an active role in this. And that's where it all begins. That's where your empowerment begins, is to realize that you're where you are, whether you like it or not, because you want to be, either consciously or not. You've been sabotaging yourself. You've been creating this fucked up existence for yourself. And if you're frustrated with it, you have to be able to change it. But you'll never change it if you're going around pointing the finger at everybody. Like the person who sets a fire and then burns his hand and then starts pointing at everybody else for the burn. It's just dumb as shit. It's the stupidest thing, but we've all done it. I've been there. I've done that. I created myself into this horrible person that was the lowest of the low. And I felt like it was society that did it to me. That they created this monster. And now they're going to watch what monsters do. Monsters knock shit down. Monsters destroy stuff. It's all your all's fault. It's everybody else's fault. Like I was going to show them all. It's just baby shit. It's just extreme immaturity. It's blindness. They say that, you know, I once was lost and now I'm found. I once was blind, now I see. That shit's real deal. That's taking personal responsibility for yourself, seeing clarity, having clarity in this world will set you free, will give you the proper mindset in order to take the steps forward. You may not be where you want to be in life, but once you become clear and you get rid of some of this filters, these fantasies, this bullshit that you put on yourself and this victimhood, this victim mentality, this weakness, and you realize, okay, well, other people, that I wish I was with them up there, but I'm back here. That'll give you the ability to start taking the steps forward instead of just bumping into trees along that path, wondering why you're not getting anywhere. So it's just all food for thought. If you find yourself stuck in this victim mentality or aspects of it, the first thing you need to do is stop where you are and take a look at yourself. Look in the mirror, metaphysically or physically, and own up to it all. Own up to everything. Stop playing games. Stop being a punk. Stop being a baby with that shit and pointing at this or that. I would do this if it wasn't for... Stop all that narrative. And just realize that I can do anything I want. I can do anything, create any vision of myself, and I could get there. I could go from any point to any other point. From point A to point B, doesn't matter how long it is or how short it is. I can create goals and I can accomplish them, no matter what that goal is. But I have to see where I'm at, to realize where I'm at, to really get a good look at this landscape around me, really understand my limitations and my capabilities and my strength, and to move forward. It can be really scary. Owning up to your flaws can be really scary. It can really suck. It's not a good feeling sometimes because we all want to pretend that we're perfect. And when you're the victim, you're going around pretending that everything's cool with you. And it's the world that's like you're a pinball in a pinball machine. You're playing the machine. And that little ball in there is your own mentality. So why not be in control of it? Why wish that you were like other people? You could be like that. You see people around you successful that are moving faster than you. These are people that aren't playing the victim. These are people that are owning up to it. And when they fuck up, or in the past, if they've been through hardships, they just own up to all of it. That was one of the most empowering things I could do for myself, was to meditate on this and to have the realization that I was in charge of my journey and that I was the cause of everything that ever happened to me. I had to own up to it all. But it gave me the strength that I had never had before ever in my life. I instantly went from a weak player on the team to a strong player on the team. So be strong. Give all this stuff a thought. Stop being the victim in life. Stop playing that victim mentality. Stop thinking that you are where you are because of some other external factor that puts you there. You're navigating through this forest. It's all up to you. Thanks for watching.